It's the last day of the regular season. Nothing but pride and a chance to improve on the line here this evening from Monessen High School, as it's the number 5 team in 2A versus the number 6 team in 2A, as we'll keep it here for the playing of the anthem, and we'll get you ready when we come back here on MBI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Back here on the air on MVI Live. Sorry about that. Camera got knocked out during the national anthem, as we'll take a look at the starting lineups here between two teams that found out their seed earlier this evening, and two coaches that feel very differently about that. Serra Catholic thrilled. Monessen not so much, and here's the starting 5 for the Eagles. It's going to be the junior guard Elijah Ward. Isaiah Petty, the sophomore, will get the start, along with 5'11 freshman guard. It's Owen Dombrowski, 6'1 junior guard Joey DeMoss, and 6'2 senior for Ben Clark. 6'3 senior Brendan Cooley not available tonight for the Eagles. On the other side, it's going to be the sophomore forward Lorenzo Gardner getting the start, along with 6'3 senior guard Cody Coons, 5'8 junior Keontae Robinson, 5'10 junior guard Dante DeFelice, and the 6'1 junior Jashawn Blackman. As again, Monessen found out they will have the 5 seed taking on the Jeanette Jayhawks versus a Serra Catholic team that will come in as the 6 seed. So a tune-up game, a pride game, and man, oh man, this should be fun as we have a 5-6 matchup to get us ready for postseason play, Jose.
Yeah, and an opportunity here for the Greyhounds to extend their winning streak. They've won 14 consecutive games coming into tonight. A huge win over Class 3A Wash High, who was seeded number 6 earlier today. The Monessen Greyhounds able to get a 6-point win over the Prexies on Saturday. And Serra Catholic coming off a big win of their own, 69-53 on Friday, an upset victory over the Greensburg Central Catholic Centurions, who are seeded number 4 in 2A. So should be an interesting one between two of the top 6 seeds here in Class 2A.
Two teams trending in the right direction. There's Robinson looking for DeFelice, picked off and back the other way. Here comes Isaiah Petty. Petty drives in, foul line, kick up, Joey DeMoss. DeMoss left wing, up top, Petty. One more, he goes. Ward to the corner, Dombrowski for three. That one rattles around, no good. Dante DeFelice. Here comes Lorenzo. Gardner drives in, right block off the window and in for Lorenzo Gardner. The sophomore starts the scoring. Now it's Isaiah Petty, the sophomore, 14.2 points per game, second leading scorer. That one deflected out by Cody Coons. Again, as I mentioned, no Brendan Cooley tonight. He's averaging over 10.4 per game and 7.6 rebounds, which leads the way for the number 6 seeded Serra Catholic Eagles. As there's Elijah Ward. Ward near side. There's Petty driving in left side. Underneath Joey DeMoss, no good, and that one deflects off the Greyhounds and out.
Yeah, Serra Catholic going to rely a lot on DeMoss leading the team with 16.2 points per game. Isaiah Petty at 14.2. Those two have really led the way offensively.
Off the mark, Petty with the rebound. Just Sean Blackman just steals it away. Here comes Cody Coons. Coons. Now it's Dante DeFelice. DeFelice bounce past Coons. One more. Lorenzo drives in. Gardner looks for Blackman and fires it out. No good, and we'll go back the other direction. These are two teams, again, we mentioned Monessen. You said 14 in a row, 17 of 18 for the Greyhounds after starting 0-3. But this is a Serra Catholic team that's now won 6 of their last 7. They started 1-6, went to 4-8, and now sit at 10-9 before in the final game of the regular season. So two teams trending the right way as Petty off the back iron, no good. Rebound grabbed down by Dante DeFelice. Here comes Gardner. Gardner, right side. Lorenzo kicks it into the paint. Turnover. Petty up ahead, leading the charge. The freshman Dombrowski off the glass and in. We are tied at 2 with 6:25 remaining in the first. Dombrowski shoots 41% from the floor during the course of the regular season. Blackman bounce past Gardner. Gardner back to DeFelice into Blackman. Coons in the corner if they go that way. Instead, Keontae Robinson from 15 feet sends it through. Keontae Robinson transferring back into Monessen after playing football at GCC. Was the defensive player of the year as outside linebacker for the Centurions from Greensburg Central Catholic. As Petty, top of the key, foul line, drives in, floater rattles through. We're tied again at 4. First bucket of the game for the sophomore, Isaiah Petty. Another one of the Eagles shooting over 40% on the season. Inside, turnover, handoff, Clark. There's Joey DeMoss. DeMoss, top of the key, far side, Petty for 3. And Petty back iron, no good, rebound, Blackman. Monessen's dominated the glass as was to be expected without Cooley as Coons can't get it to fall. Rebound by Clark. He's the man who took that starting position away. Joey DeMoss around Robinson. Now it's Dombrowski. Dombrowski up to Petty. Near side, Elijah Ward. One more inside they go, trying to find a man. There's Petty from Dombrowski. And Isaiah Petty's fouled. He'll shoot 2 with 4:57 remaining in the opening quarter. It's 4-all here from Monessen High School.
And turnovers have been costly for the Greyhounds early on. And big reason why Serra has an opportunity here to take their first lead.
That one falls for Petty. He's up to 3 points now in the contest on the season. Isaiah Petty, 68%. 27 of 39 from the charity stripe.
We talk about how, Isaiah Petty and Joey DeMoss have played a big role in Serra's success, but I think the emergence of Owen Dombrowski, the return of Elijah Ward, those two things have really helped as well. Of course, Ward was out with an injury at the beginning of the season. Has really played a big role, averaging 6.5 points per game.
Lanaj Thomas turns it over, back the other way. Owen Dombrowski, the freshman, off the window, no good. Rebound, Cody Coons. Coons in transition, has Thomas. Thomas make that Blackman back to Coons up top. DeFelice drives in, left block, off the window, no good. Long rebound, top of the key. Taken away by Coons, that's from Isaiah Petty. Coons, he's fouled trying to spin away from Petty, and that's going to be the first against Isaiah Petty. Checking in now for the Eagles will be Alex Xavier Saunders, the 5'8 freshman. 3.8 points per game off the bench this season for the freshman Saunders. Robinson to DeFelice over the timeline. Blackman can't corral it. Dombrowski back the other way. Dombrowski to DeMoss, and Joey DeMoss travels before putting it up as he banked it in. That will not count. The lead stays at 2 for the Eagles with 4:08 remaining in the first.
6 turnovers for the Greyhounds in the first 4 minutes of this first quarter as Lorenzo Gardner checks back in.
So the normal starting 5 for the Monessen Greyhounds on the floor right now. Lanaj Thomas did not start today. Instead, it was Keontae Robinson. There's Blackman in the corner. The big man thought about it, now drives in. Looks to kick it out, does DeFelice. Foul line to the near side corner, Coons. Coons inside. What a cut by Thomas. He finishes it. And he'll shoot one more. Lanaj Thomas off the bench onto the board as the sophomore looks to give the Greyhounds the lead back.
Nice feed there, too. Was that Gardner with the pass to Thomas?
Coons.
Was that Coons?
I believe it was Coons as traditional three-point play converted. As Lanaj gives the Greyhounds the lead back. Inside, taken away. Good back defense by Dante DeFelice. DeFelice bounce past Coons, right corner. Floated underneath. Lorenzo goes down, up off the window and in. Lorenzo Gardner adds 2. 9-6 lead for Monessen.
A little bit of momentum here for the Hounds.
Inside Clark, outside Petty. Petty turns it over. There's Blackman to Lorenzo Gardner. Gardner drives in, left block to the right block, and lays it home. Give Gardner 6. Make it 11-6 Monessen. 3 minutes remaining in the first. Now it's Elijah Ward's turn. Near side Petty. The Serra offense has gone cold, and a 10-second violation called on Serra Catholic, giving the Greyhounds the ball back, up 11-6, 2:52 remaining in the first. I believe the Monessen girls also with the 5 seed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, and
home on Monday.
Yeah, I believe so. So
Serra Catholic girls with the 3 seed.
Both the Monessen teams are going to, and both Serra teams are going to get home games in the first round.
We'll be here for the Monessen boys game. As of now, that is the plan for the playoffs. I think we're finalizing that in between doing the games. As a foul, most likely we'll see the Serra Catholic girls as well.
Yeah, we'll have more information on that as the week goes on with a schedule for our broadcast on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
As Jashawn Blackman up and in for 2. Near side, there's Owen Dombrowski, 2:25 remaining in the first quarter. The Eagles got to get the offense going, and more or less you got to get Joey DeMoss going. See if he can do it this time. By for 3. DeMoss off the back iron. Rebound, Lanaj Thomas. Up ahead, here's Lorenzo. Lorenzo Gardner out in the right wing to the right corner. Dante DeFelice now. DeFelice drives in, puts it up. Dante DeFelice off the iron, no good. Rebound by the Greyhounds, and Blackman can't get it to fall. Now it's Thomas and Blackman saving it, but eventually off of Gardner and out. You know, Monessen wasn't necessarily too happy with that 5 seed, Jose, coming in. You know, you had one team thrilled in Serra Catholic with how things played out. Monessen, pretty much the exact opposite, but they're going and trying to prove that they were deserving of a higher seed. They felt like that win against Washington just penalized the Little Prexies instead of rewarding Monessen.
Yeah, and you know, GCC gets the 4 seed. I'm sure Monessen would have liked the top 4 seed considering they were a section champion. GCC, you know, won their section, but didn't do it with an unbeaten record like Monessen did. They lost to Serra Catholic on Friday. There's a corner 3 by DeMoss that goes no good and out of bounds. But I'm sure Monessen, if they get a win here against Serra Catholic, that'll send a message saying, hey, you gave a team that lost to the team that we just beat
a higher seed.
Yeah, you gave them a higher seed, so we'll see what happens here. But Monessen, I think, looking to send a message, even though this game doesn't really have, you know, any implications surrounding it.
Yeah, bracket came out just about 2 hours ago. as checking in will be Devontae Clayton.
And brackets were announced exclusively on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, where we will be broadcasting our playoff games.
As Cody Coons from downtown off the mark, rebound Isaiah Petty. Here comes Petty, and that one's deflected out. And head coach Dan Bosnick making sure his senior star doesn't go running into the assistant coaching staff.
Yeah, I think that's where he was headed if Bosnick didn't make the catch. So nice job by coach there.
Up top, Dombrowski. Dombrowski, a really good three-point shooter, as well as DeMoss. They have yet to hit here in this game.
Yeah,
Clark.
3+ minute drought for the Eagles right now.
DeMoss floater, no good. Rebound, Blackman. Blackman almost has it taken away. Underhand to Clayton. Here comes Clayton over the divider, right wing. Clayton has his pocket picked. Isaiah Petty. Joey DeMoss now with Dombrowski. Pretty passing, and Dombrowski gets the finish. The second bucket of the game for Owen Dombrowski. Clayton to Coons. Coons pressured by Elijah Ward. Up over his head to Blackman in the corner. Jay-Sean Blackman. Bounce past Cody Coons. Coons double team. Back to Blackman. Thomas posting up. They go with the bounce to Coons. Top of the key off the deflection. It's Clayton. Near side corner, Gardner. 26 on the clock. A little far and into the stands. And a chance to cut it to a 3-point, if not 2-point game before the end of the quarter. Far side. Now near side it comes to Petty. Petty drives in, floats it up, and that one rattles no good. Rebound, Thomas, and a foul underneath. And that's going to be against the Serra Catholic Eagles and Isaiah Petty, his second of the quarter.
7.4 seconds, opportunity for one shot for the Greyhounds.
Up top, Blackman for three, and Blackman can't get it to fall. So after one, Monessen on top, 11-8 over Serra Catholic, as they're looking to continue into the second quarter, as they've played excellent defensively, kind of keeping all the big guns, DeMoss mainly, off the board thus far.
Yeah, and that's, I think, been their bread and butter. I mean, that's what has allowed Monessen to win as many games as they have this season. It's what has allowed them to get out to this 14-game winning streak. They're playing well defensively, and they're creating offense off of that strong defensive performance. So same here in the first quarter, as Monessen was able to finish that first quarter on a 9-2 run in the last 3 minutes and 49 seconds.
4 for Petty, 4 for Dombrowski, 6 for Lorenzo Gardner. Cody Coons and Joey DeMoss scoreless in that opening frame. 13-8 in favor of the Greyhounds. Again, a great matchup here, getting us ready for the WPIAL postseason. And if you want to know more about the WPIAL postseason brackets and how it affects your local Valley favorites, join us tomorrow. We'll have a bracket breakdown. I believe 6 o'clock is the start time for that one, and we'll discuss all things going on with the WPIAL postseason bracket and what our coverage will look like for the postseason here on MVI Live.
Yeah, and we'll have a story with all our local teams, where they're seated, where they're going to be playing, who they're going to be playing in tomorrow's Mon Valley Independence, so be sure to check that out as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Monessen-Jeanette matchup, though. That's going to be a lot of fun, I think. As here's Dombrowski, far side, Clark, inside Ward, taken away by Lorenzo Gardner. Gardner to Dante DeFelice. 20 seconds elapsed here in the second quarter. There's Gardner, far side, pulls the trigger, got it! Lorenzo Gardner from beyond the arc, up to 9 in the first half.
It's what he's been doing a lot lately, scoring early and often.
And Elijah Ward answers with 2 of his own as the seas parted for the junior. Lorenzo looking to get him right back, drives in, Lorenzo off the window and in. Gardner up to 11. 7:10 remaining in the second quarter. 8-point lead for Monessen. Now it's Clark's turn to Dombrowski. Dombrowski double team, floats it into Ward. Ward to DeMoss. DeMoss foul line floater, banks it in. First bucket of the game for Joey DeMoss. Now it's Lorenzo Gardner. Off to Coons, bounce past Gardner. Gardner to Coons, right wing, down low, Lanage. Thomas up, off the side of the backboard. Up ahead, Dombrowski. He runs it down, saves it inbounds. What a play by DeFelice. Trying to throw it off him. He corralled it, and the Greyhounds get possession back. Coons underneath, picked off by Joey DeMoss. And a whistle blown with 6:25 remaining in the second quarter, and a foul against Monessen and Jay-Sean Blackman. Saunders in for Burke, and Petty back in for Clark. Dombrowski near side, Petty. Petty bounce past Dombrowski right side. Dombrowski inside, kick out DeMoss, back up top. Now it's Petty for three. Isaiah Petty can't hit, but Saunders finds the rebound, puts it up, puts it through. Alex Xavier Saunders. His first bucket.
Good ball movement there for the Eagles. Able to cut this to a 4-point lead.
5:56 remaining in the opening half. Lorenzo skips it across. There's Coons, drives in. Coons puts it up. He's fouled. And Cody Coons will go to the charity stripe looking for his first points of the evening. Foul one against Elijah Ward, his first. That's the team's fifth.
A little bit of a surprise that Coons was held scoreless. Still has been held scoreless.
Yeah, you had two of the better players with Joey DeMoss and Cody Coons not finding pay dirt in that opening quarter. Of course, it has been changed for one of those two as Coons stays scoreless. Now it's taken by Gardner. Gardner drives in. Lorenzo underneath. Blackman one dribble off the window and in. Deshaun Blackman adds two more.
I think Serra's really missing that inside presence of Brendan Cooley.
Blackman the steal. Floats it up off the deflection, deflected to Gardner, and a foul called on Owen Dombrowski.
Really, Serra has not been able to control what Lanage Thomas and Jay-Sean Blackman have been able to bring inside. Had DeMoss in the post, and there's another bucket for Blackman.
Up to 6, 22-14 your lead. And a timeout called by Serra Catholic to talk things over. And it's a full variety used by the Serra Catholic Eagles, who finished second behind GCC, one loss to Winchester Thurston, one loss to Greensburg Central Catholic. As both these teams came on after those slow starts. Monessen took a little less time than the Eagles, but you know, you get hot at the right time, and Elwood City's a perfect example of it, that anybody on any given day can make it all the way to the big dance.
Yeah, they went in, as a 13 seed, I believe, last year. And
it was either that or an 11. It was one of those
I think
two.
they were the 13. They ended up beating South Allegheny, that I believe they were the 2 going in. So, Elwood City was able to upset a lot of teams on their way to a championship, and kind of the Cinderella story of that 3A bracket last year. And it's always interesting coming into a new season, coming into a new postseason, who that could be every year. Always kind of one team that kind of shocks the Whippeal a little bit in boys and girls. So interested in seeing who that could be this time around.
DeMoss to Elijah Ward. Elijah skips it up. There's Clark, has some room, and Keontae Robinson took it away before stepping on the baseline with 5:09 remaining in the opening half.
Great defensive effort there for Robinson, keeping this at an 8-point lead with 5:09 to go.
Kick out, Robinson knocks it out again. Feels like it's an important possession for the Eagles from Serra Catholic. Sporting these gray uniforms today. First season they've had the privilege of wearing them. They christened them in at the MVI Shootout Classic, which seems like so long ago at this point to start the season.
Yeah, season has definitely gone by quickly.
Blackman now to Coons inside. Thomas floats it up, rims out. Rebound Lanage, and that one rattles in for the sophomore. 5 points now for Lanage Thomas. 10-point lead for the Greyhounds. Near side. Shank drives in, up off the window, no good, but he was fouled and he'll shoot two.
Six unanswered so far over the last minute for the Greyhounds, and that ends there with a bucket from Mike Shank.
You know, obviously part of that prolific run the football team made this year.
Yeah, star defensive player for the Eagles on that really strong defense, and
I'd give him star punter.
Yeah.
He was impressive anytime I got to see him play this year.
Yeah, very good punter as well.
Shank was a very just unfortunate name because he did the exact opposite of that with his punts. As there's Coons for three, off the mark again. Rebound Robinson, Keontae Robinson. Down low, picked off and deflected, but it goes to Blackman. Throws it away almost and onto the floor. It's eventually taken by Gardner with some help from Thomas. Up top, picked off. There's Petty. Dombrowski trailing. Petty straight off the window and in. 3 straight for the Eagles. Up to 6 for Isaiah Petty. Now it's Robinson's turn. Robinson out to Blackman. The big man for 3. Buries it. Jay-Sean Blackman. Up to 9.
Yeah, Blackman has really been huge for the Eagles. There's another turnover.
Robinson slow to get up and back the other way. Here comes Isaiah Petty. Petty near side. Shank thought about the 3. Drives in. Shank underneath off the glass and in. As laying it home for 2 is Ben Clark. He got the nod instead of Brendan Cooley, who was out with an injury today. He was a game-time decision, so more likely a precautionary tale to make sure he's ready to go for playoff time. As a lane for Gardner, left block, lays it up off the iron, no good. Own rebound, put back, won't fall, and eventually the rebound out of bounds. Last touch by Monessen with 3:03 remaining in the opening half. 27-19 lead for the Greyhounds. As the substitution once again is Keontae Robinson back out.
I got to credit the way Jay-Sean Blackman has played. His 9 points, I mean, that's huge, especially with the way that Cody Coons has kind of been limited offensively. Having that secondary scoring is obviously big for any team, but the fact that him and Lanage Thomas have been able to get involved in addition to Lorenzo Gardner, it's really helped out the Hounds.
Shank puts it up. That one off the mark. Rebound Blackman. Last time we were here, saw a blowout for Monessen. At least last time I was here with MVI Live. And Blackman, it took him forever to score. He's been a crucial part, as well as that man right there. Lorenzo Gardner around the cylinder, and he'll look for one more. 7 this quarter for Lorenzo Gardner. Spisak in along with Joey DeMoss. Clark and Shank out. Lead back to 10 for the Monessen Greyhounds. Lorenzo Gardner through the motion, puts it up, sends it through. Old school 3-point play to get the Greyhounds to 30 for Lorenzo Gardner. He's up to 14 himself.
Almost half of Monessen's points have come from their leading scorer.
And Cody Coons has none. There's Dombrowski for 3. That one no good. Rebound Blackman up ahead, 2-on-0, and Cody Coons takes it himself.
First points of the night for Cody Coons, and it's a 13-point lead for the Greyhounds. A nice little 8-2 run here for Monessen.
30-second timeout called by the Serra Catholic Eagles, who again, this is the teams the WPIAL deemed as number 5 and number 6, and right now number 5 taking care of number 6. And this is exactly what head coach Dan Bosnick said he wanted to do. He said, they're not too happy about that 5 seed.
Yeah.
And they wanted to prove that they think they deserve better, and they want to show why they think they deserve better, and they've done exactly that.
Yeah, maybe a 5 o'clock pairings meeting or pairings announcement kind of helps out Monessen, gives them a little motivation going into this game. It's kind of maybe sometimes hard to find that type of motivation going into a game that doesn't really mean much. But when it's against another top team in 2A, changes things. Foul there, I believe, on Cody Coons.
As Coons is indeed the guilty party. Joey DeMoss, he has no options really, fires it across the Ward, driving in Dombrowski, back out DeMoss, up top Petty, foul line, drives in to the left block, 2 up, and Lorenzo, a huge piece of Isaiah Petty, sending him tumbling down to the hardwood.
And they weren't going to let him have an easy basket there. Instead, send Petty to the line. 6 points for the Eagles.
Normally when you have 7 scores, too, you're thinking, all right, we're in pretty good shape, but they've only mustered up 19 points with those 7 guys. And this man, Isaiah Petty, has been the best of them all. He has 7.
Yeah, and you mentioned, right now DeMoss has been limited to 2. He's averaging 16.2 a game, and you're missing a guy like Brennan Cooley who averages over 10 points and almost 8 rebounds per game as well.
First miss from the line. As that one out of bounds off the Greyhounds. It's just an errant pass by Dante DeFelice, firing his intended target basically into the stands. And now everyone in that front row is moving up a section. Driving in, Ward, kick out DeMoss. Back up top they go. There's Isaiah Petty. Petty, foul line. Ward, back to Spacek. One more, Joey DeMoss. Back up top, Dombrowski. Dombrowski to Petty. Petty has DeMoss. Inside he goes to Elijah Ward. He's fouled from behind by Lanaj Thomas. 1:29 remaining in the opening half. A 12-point lead for the Greyhounds. 1-1 will be the call for Spacek. Good to see Keontae Robinson come back in for the Greyhounds. He was shaken up a bit earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely been nice for Monessen to have some depth here with Devontae Ross, with Keontae Robinson, Devontae Robinson, a couple different guys that have been able to contribute minutes. You really don't lose much when you take your starters off the floor.
Up top, Joey DeMoss. DeMoss. Kick out, gets it back. DeMoss for 3, way off the mark again. Far side, back up top. Taken by Coons into Keontae Robinson. Robinson back underneath. They go to Gardner with ease.
Great ball movement there for Monessen. Ends up into the hands of Lorenzo Gardner, now up to 16 here in this first half.
10-point quarter for Lorenzo Gardner. There's Dombrowski, one more. Spacek back to Dombrowski, up top, Petty near side DeMoss. DeMoss drives into the lane, up top, Dombrowski for 3, got it! Owen Dombrowski, the freshman. Huge triple there from Dombrowski to cut into the lead. It's now 34-23. Monessen most likely holding for one with 16. Keontae Robinson, pressured by Spacek, off the deflection. Monessen has it once more. Now it's Gardner in the corner. Gardner into the foul line. Thomas up and in. Lanaj Thomas, 7 off the bench. Make it 36-23. At the break in favor of the Monessen Greyhounds as they've come to play here this evening at home. A very dominating second quarter by Monessen.
Yeah, and Lorenzo Gardner, like you said, 10 of his 16 in that second quarter. And, Gardner's been doing this a lot really throughout the season, but, I've been able to see Monessen quite often over the last couple weeks, and, he's consistently been their leading scorer. He's been consistently getting up around the 15-16 range in the first quarter, or in the first half rather, and hasn't played a lot, throughout the game. He's been taken out a lot, but I think this game, he's going to get to be able to play a lot in the second half, and maybe a chance to get higher up here in this point total.
We'll see what does indeed happen, as at the end of 2 quarters of play, 36-23. The Greyhounds on top of the Eagles from Serra Catholic. When we come back, will be our halftime interview presented by His Place Coffee, Community, and more in Monessen. And we will be joined by Ringgold Senior Nick Pecan right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Your score at the half, Monessen 36, Serra Catholic 23. We'll be right back here on MVI Live. Doreen Walters, your full-time realtor and a master certified negotiating expert. One of the most positively reviewed agents on Zillow in southwestern Pennsylvania, with the best marketing and maximum exposure, and a lifelong resident of the Mon Valley.
If you're looking for handmade gifts this season, check out Chloe and Me Candles. All of their products are made in-house since 2014. Their waxes are a proprietary blend of soy, paraffin, coconut, and corn, and they use cotton core wicks and phthalate-free oils. Their body products are made with the finest quality oils, butters, and salts for your skin. Check them out at 205 West Main Street in Monongahela or call 724-298-8696.
Stop on down to Hills Restaurant, Main Street in New Eagle. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, dine in or take out. Online ordering now available at hills-restaurant.com. Hills Restaurant, the best kept secret in the Valley. You can call them at 724-258-5422.
Itty bitty treasures and more at Riverside Village Shops for something extra special. Memory domes, engraving, awards, screen printing, embroidery, gifts, and so much more. Riverside Village Shops, located at 127 Spear Street in Bell Vernon.
Come to Trigimbo Motors, a top-rated Pittsburgh area dealership for over 55 years to actually enjoy car buying. From their extensive high-quality selection of cars, SUVs, and trucks, you'll receive personal care and attention and enjoy your experience at Trigimbo Motors of Bentleyville. Visit their website at trigimbo-motors.com or visit them at 125 Wilson Road in Bentleyville. Back here at the half on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Time for our halftime interview, joined by Ringgold Senior and record holder Nick Pecan. Nick, appreciate you joining us here for this halftime interview. Again, brought to you by His Place Coffee, Community, more in Monessen. But, as I said, record holder here at Ringgold. And for those of you who don't know, single season 3-point record. What does it mean to be able to get a record that stood for that long?
I mean, it felt great hitting the shot, especially at buzzer beater when I hit that. But, yeah, I didn't have a chance to get 1,000, and I needed to make my mark here somehow.
You're able to do that, and, definitely I think a staple of what this team was this year, even though you guys end up coming up short in the postseason hunt. You were right there throughout the course of the season. It's just one of those things. Some things didn't fall your way, but a season that under your first-year head coach, I think shows that this program has a lot of room to grow, even though that you're not going to be there. How do you kind of see this program developing and the steps they've taken this year?
I mean, yeah, especially first-year coaches have a lot to, we didn't have a lot of time to play together and stuff, and I was the only one back from last year, or a couple actually, me, Jake Pahowick, and Daryl Tolliver. But yeah, we had a lot of we needed a lot more time to play together and stuff.
Always tough to end your season missing out, but a lot of good came out of this. You left your mark with the record, but you broke a record in a season where at times it looked like you couldn't even make a shot to save your life. How did you, and that's not offense to you. I mean, you shoot the ball way better than I ever shot when I played high school basketball, I'll tell you that. But, we saw you during the Christmas tournament, and you got back to, it looked like the basics, and eventually things started falling once again for you. So how were you able to keep that confidence and keep putting the shot up until finally it started falling for you once again?
Yeah, at the Christmas tournament, I don't know what was going on. I just kept shooting. A few started to fall, but Yeah, I don't think about missing. I just shoot. I just keep shooting.
And that's the true mark of a good scorer, that no matter what, you keep putting the ball up, and you were able to do that, and you've done it more times than anybody here has ever done again. And that might be a record that stands for, a long time, for years to come. But you're moving on. What's the future looking like for you now that you got one more game left here at Ringgold? Then what's the next step here?
I mean, I'm 100% going to play in college. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure where yet, but I'd really like to play in college.
You've definitely, sure. I think, with the way you've played and shown your growth, that very good possibility. What's it going to take to be successful, you think, at that next level?
Put a lot of work in, like ball handling, put like off-season work, and no distractions. That's about it.
So one final question for you. This one, a little fun question I like to ask, and Jose always gives me crap asking it, but I've asked it to everyone I've interviewed so far, so you're not going to be any exception. But you've played 4 years of high school basketball, so you've heard a lot of national anthems before playing games.
Yeah.
So is it the best, or at least considered a pump-up song, the national anthem? And I'll explain my questioning, because last thing you hear before clearing or going out in the court for me, it was always a mind clear and said, okay, it's time to play. So what I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I usually close my eyes and just focus on when we're about to play, and keep my mind straight, keep my mind empty, just focus on winning.
And it's definitely worked for you throughout the course of your career. We appreciate you coming by for this halftime interview. Congrats on a great career here at Ringgold. Good luck in the future. Appreciate you stopping by, Nick.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll have the second half of your game right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. This interview again brought to you by His Place Coffee, Community, and more in Monessen. We'll be right back with the second half of your game here on MVI Live.
Have you always wanted to install security cameras in your house, but none of the commercial installers wanted to bother with you? Now you can call Kevin Ike Evangelo at Right Bite Computers for all your residential security camera needs. Call Ike at 724-272-2145 for your free security camera analysis.
If you're looking for somewhere to eat after the game, check out our friends down at the Foster House 2, serving up their famous king sandwiches 7 days a week until 11:30 p.m. The Foster House 2, located at 1 Cook Road in Belle Vernon. Back here at the half. 36-23, Serra Catholic trailing the Greyhounds from Monessen. A big thanks to Nick Pecan for sitting down for our halftime interview, sponsored by His Place Coffee, Community, and more in Monessen. And if you would like to advertise with us for either the Valley Sports Guys podcast, MVI Live, the postseason on MVI Live, or coming into spring with baseball, softball, you can contact us and contact me at alions@yourmvi.com. Did I say that right, Jose? Would that be right for my email?
At yourmvi.com.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. For some reason I wanted to put live in there. I'm just so used to saying live.
Nope.
No live.
No live.
No live. We're live now.
We are live.
But not in the email.
Correct.
7 points for Dombrowski and Petty leading the way for Serra Catholic. 16 for Lorenzo Gardner, 9 for Jay Sean Blackman, and 7 for Lanaj Thomas off the bench, as good spread out scoring for Monessen in that opening half, and they have kind of taken to heart what it sounded like Coach Bosnick said to me about, wanting to prove they deserved a higher seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've answered the call there in that first half. I mean, Lorenzo Gardner was doing what he has done all season long, 16 points in the first half. Jay Sean Blackman, I thought, was phenomenal. He and Lanaj Thomas combined for 16 points of their own to kind of provide that secondary scoring, while Cody Coons was limited to only 2 points. So they came up really big. Ethan Dombrowski and Isaiah Petty each with 7 points. That they're just going to need more balance when it comes to these Eagles. I mean, Joey DeMoss was only limited to 2 points in that first half. If he can get going, I could see Serra coming back and making this a game, despite being down by 13 at the half.
Without Cooley, which has been the big issue, because on the boards it's been dominated by Serra Catholic here in this contest, by Monessen without Serra Catholic's leading rebounder. See what maybe the Eagles have in store for the Greyhounds this time by. They are a very good three-point shooting team, as great start for Cody Coons, getting to the bucket and laying it in for two.
Yeah, ideal start for him. If he can get going, that would be huge for the Greyhounds.
Inside, Elijah Ward can't answer, but he's fouled by Thomas. So Elijah Ward will shoot a pair. And Serra Catholic, two guys shooting over 30% from three-point land. Joey DeMoss at 34, Dombrowski at 35. As Elijah Ward sends his up and in, he's up to 3 points. But DeMoss has been ice cold from outside here in this one. Dombrowski the only three of the game. Elijah 84% from the line this season, goes 2 for 2. He's up to 4 and has the first 2 points of the half for Serra Catholic, with 7:27 and counting here in a rolling third quarter. Coons to Blackman in the right wing. Blackman bounce pass, and that one off of Coons and out of bounds. I think Blackman was trying to get it to Gardner, and that's what he was saying, and kind of Cody Coons just got in the way of everything.
Big possession here for Serra. I mean, if you can get a nice look from beyond the arc, you get within 10, that'd be huge. And there's a 3-ball from Dombrowski, no good.
Back the other way, Lorenzo Gardner spins away from Elijah Ward. Lorenzo goes to Coons, Cody Coons. Now it's taken by DeFelice inside. Gardner puts it up, and Lorenzo Gardner puts it in. 18 for the sophomore. Here comes Dombrowski, up top Petty. Petty back to Dombrowski. Owen Dombrowski, the freshman, hands off to Isaiah Petty. Near side, Joey DeMoss. DeMoss around the arc, he rolls and dribbles off his leg and out. From bad to worse for the Serra Catholic Eagles. Here comes Michael Shank replacing Joey DeMoss, as Serra Catholic seems all out of sorts here in this one so far this evening.
Yeah, and Monessen is, they had a rough start there to begin that first quarter. Took them some time to get going, but ever since they were able to get out in that 9-2 run at the end of the first 8 minutes, it's been all Greyhounds.
Inside, taken away by Clark. Now it's Shank. Shank over the timeline. Flips it near side and out of bounds. Nobody home, and the frustration continues to rise on the Serra Catholic bench. .5:55 remaining third quarter. DeFelice to Cody Coons. Coons up top. Jay-Sean Blackman inside. Lanaj Thomas finds Blackman off the glass and in. Monessen making it look oh so easy here this evening. The second Greyhound in double digits. There's Shank. Shank up top. Petty. Petty drives in, and Petty travels, trying to split Coons and Gardner.
And this Monessen team looking to extend that winning streak to 15 in a row, and so far so good, up 17 with over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
DeFelice, there's Blackman, taken away, but right to Thomas, kick out Gardner. Gardner drives in, Lorenzo lost the handle, floated up ahead. There goes Elijah Ward laying it in. Showing off the Jets was Elijah Ward. He's up to 6. He has all 4 points this half for Serra Catholic, who's down 42-27, 4:54 remaining in the third. Cody Coons taken away again by Ward. Ward with the left off the window and in. Elijah Ward saying he's not going down without a fight. Cuts the lead back down to 13 as we near the halfway point of the third quarter, and a timeout called by Monessen. That's their first.
What an impact that Ward has made in 10 games since returning from injury. Of course, another member of that Serra Catholic football team that had a grueling season that ended in a Mobile championship victory over Beaver Falls and then a loss to Southern Columbia. And he was beat up from that and missed the first handful of games of this season and has come back and has done a really good job, creating things offensively and just kind of being a spark, adding to that starting lineup for the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he even had to play some quarterback with some injuries to Rocco down that stretch.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's under center next year with Max Rocco's graduation. Sure, a top candidate considering his experience, his position on the depth chart.
Shank got a full body of Lorenzo Gardner. Lorenzo Gardner taken away. There comes Owen Dombrowski. Slows things down. Dombrowski to Elijah Ward. Ward turns it over. Here comes Coons. Coons takes it himself. No good, but he's fouled. Elijah not a fan.
Kind of a late foul call there. The ball was already in another Monessen Greyhounds' hands when they blew the whistle. Nonetheless, sends Cody Coons to the line. Coons hits the first. Now 5 points for Cody Coons, who has been Mr. Everything for the Greyhounds this season.
Lane violation, or I think Coons actually, as the guilty party, then crossed over the stripe.
A little too eager there to get his own rebound off the missed free throw. Still a 14-point lead here for Monessen, even though they had 3 turnovers on 3 straight possessions.
There's DeMoss, catch and release off the back iron, rebound. Slammed off of Dombrowski, but he pinballs off his legs to Petty. Petty, no good, got the rebound. Petty, loose on the floor, Thomas dives down. Joining the party was Dombrowski, tie-up called, and it's going to be Eagle basketball. DeMoss up top to Petty. Petty drives in. Petty right block, had it knocked out of his hands. And Serra will try once more with 3:37 remaining in the third. And you're at the point for Serra Catholic. You want to try to work this down to single digits before the fourth quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't let this lead get any worse.
DeMoss from the corner again. Joey DeMoss can't hit. Rebound saved by Dombrowski. No, he steps on the out-of-bounds line on the far side. And it's going to be Greyhound basketball as the Hounds look to increase upon their 43-29 lead with 3:30 remaining here in the third.
And that's some faithful wanted a foul on that one, but sure they'll take the change of possession.
There's Jashawn Blackman up to Coons underneath. Thomas a little too tall, but it makes its way to Gardner. Gardner, double team, got Dombrowski in the air all the way across to Coons. Coons, a couple dribbles inside. Blackman, left elbow, back up top, taken away. There's Dombrowski in all alone. Dombrowski blocked by Robinson. Keontae Robinson all the way back with the denial.
Keontae Robinson has been all over the floor. Made some really great defensive plays to keep Serra from getting easy buckets, and does it again there with Dombrowski, and foul call will send Joey DeMoss to the free throw line.
When it's not your night, it's not your night, and it has not been Joey DeMoss's night.
Yeah,
Missing 3, and he was off to a good start, but he had that travel right before he hit that 3, and since that, it's been all downhill, and that's normally a shot even with the foul that Joey DeMoss makes.
Yeah, definitely has had some struggles, but an opportunity here as trims it to a 13-point lead.
On the season for Serra Catholic, Joey DeMoss shooting 72%. 22 for 30 from the charity stripe. Elijah Ward back in. He's the reason Serra Catholic's even hanging around thanks to his steals and scores earlier this quarter. 2 for 2 for DeMoss.
Yeah, I think if you're AJ Corsa, you got to be happy with the way that Elijah Ward has played in this quarter. And
defensively, the Greyhounds have played very well.
yeah, defense. I mean, that's
Right,
every
I
game.
mean,
And
I was
or
meaning
Eagles.
Serra, yeah. But, I mean,
You
Monessen's
could
played very well as
say
well
that for both
defensively.
teams, correct. Yeah, correct.
Absolutely. Both teams have been excellent on the defensive side of the ball. That's off of Lorenzo Gardner. It looked like they say no. I think that's a break for Monessen. Looked like it might have hit the fingertips, but the Greyhounds won't complain with 2:35 remaining in the third. They're up 43-31. Bounce pass Gardner. Lorenzo, right corner. Gardner all the way across. Robinson. Keontae drives in. Robinson lost it, but right to Lorenzo. He misses. Stripped away third time, no good. Lorenzo can't get it this time. It's taken by Petty. Pinballs back to Gardner.
And it gets back to Gardner again. I think he got 3 or 4 rebounds on that sequence.
Coons left alone for a moment. Backs down Elijah Ward. That's not the coverage that Serra Catholic wants to see as an official timeout as something popped free onto the floor.
What a sequence there. And that's really just that's the story of this night. Monessen has really dominated on the boards. They've had a lot of second chance opportunities. And they had third, fourth, fifth chances there.
What a cut by Elijah Ward. He wasn't afraid of the bigger bodies, and Elijah's up to 10. He only averages 6.5 per game since returning, but Ward over that mark tonight.
I think 8 in this quarter alone.
Coons to Robinson, 1:30 on the clock. Keontae Robinson to Gardner. Gardner drives in, left block, puts it up with the right, a tough shot, no good. Lanage with the board, turning, shot rattles in. Lanage Thomas, give him 9. And I believe, is that a carry called against Serra Catholic to turn it back over? 47-33, 1:17 remaining in the third.
7 turnovers here in this quarter for Serra, 6 for Monessen.
Ross, hard bounce pass. Coons backing his way in, no good. Put back, won't fall as well. 4 Eagles surround the ball, and they struggle to get the rebound. Here comes Elijah Ward. Ward coast to coast. Ward floats it up, and an offensive foul. Lanage Thomas was set in stone, and Elijah Ward did not change directions.
And I got to credit Elijah Ward for the way that he's played. No fear going inside with Lanage Thomas posted up in there and tried his best to try and cut into this deficit. But Monessen now with under a minute to go, play some keep away and try to get a late shot.
Coons for 3. That one no good. Rebound Gardner again. Lorenzo Gardner doing it all. Up to 20 for the sophomore. Dombrowski. There's Petty. DeMoss wants it. Petty underneath Ward. What happened there?
Slipped out of his hands.
But he
he
gets the
steals
steal, and Elijah Ward gets the bucket.
Wow.
10-point quarter for Elijah Ward. 10 of his team's 12. The other 2 belong to DeMoss from the charity stripe.
I think what's even more impressive is 3 of his buckets have come off steals. You know, he's been able to create some turnovers and capitalize on the other end of the floor.
Elijah, old school 3-point play, up to an 11-point quarter for the junior. Serra Catholic cannot allow a Greyhound bucket before the quarter ends, but Robinson finds a lane, and he gets the chance at the old school 3-point play.
Not what you want if you're Serra Catholic. I mean, able to cut it to 13 there, and you let Monessen get it right back.
Keontae Robinson is true. Serra needs a bucket before the half now. It's Joey DeMoss trying to do it. And DeMoss fouled on his way down the lane. 3.3 on the clock. DeMoss floats it in, deflected, 2 seconds and 1. Ross at the buzzer, no. But it does not matter. The Greyhounds right now absolutely taking care of business here at home. 13-point quarter for Serra Catholic. $16 for Monessen, as we can take a look at the postseason bracket. As, again, Monessen got the number 5 seed. They will take on number 12, Jeanette. Olsh got 1, no surprise there. GCC the 4, 2-4 Cherry. Winchester Thurston's in the same conference as Serra, 7. Carmichael's got the 10. And Serra Catholic will take on number 11, Shenango. As some notable matchups to look at in that one. On the girls' side of things, we mentioned both these teams. Girls getting pretty good rankings. Serra Catholic at number 3. They'll await the winner of Aliquippa and Southside. While for the Monessen Greyhounds, they come away with the 5 seed out of Class A. They will take on Riverview. As there's Blackman. Finds his man Coons. Coons underneath the Gardner, off the window, no good. Second time up and in. The quarters change, but the result stays the same for Lorenzo Gardner, 22. Now it's Ward's turn, floats it up, no good. Rebound, Blackman. Ward took it away. And a foul called. And it's on the floor after the steal by Elijah Ward. Or excuse me, on the steal by Elijah Ward, as he is the guilty party.
That's going to be it for Elijah Ward. 5th foul for him.
And Elijah's been really the only reason Serra Catholic's been able to stay alive in this game, but playing at that tempo comes with a price, and you see it there. As Cody Coons with the right, no good. Blackman put back, buried. 13 for Blackman. Only 2 threes for the Monessen Greyhounds. And it has not mattered. They've stretched it up to 20. There's Dombrowski. Dombrowski, bounce pass in, poked away. Gardner up ahead, all alone. Lorenzo off the window and in. Give Gardner 24. Driving in, kick out. Now it's Shank. Shank has Dombrowski. One more, they go to Petty. Splits a pair. Petty floats it up, banks it in. First bucket of the half for Isaiah Petty. 6:26 remaining in the contest. Coons 2-on-0 with Gardner, and Coons with the left makes it look easy to get the Greyhounds to 60. That puts Cody Coons at 9. DeMoss to Petty, drives in, kick out. 3-ball, Spisak up, way short rebound, Dante DeFelice. DeFelice turns it over, Shank used the body to knock it down, and Shank's gonna get the personal. (60-38), Monessen taking care of business against Serra Catholic. Near side, Robinson. There's Coons. Inside, Thomas. Down to Blackman. One more, Coons. Top of the key, Lorenzo Gardner. Gardner got it to Coons. Inside, Thomas. Kick out. Blackman for 3. Got it! Second triple of the game for the big man. 16 for Blackman. Isaiah Petty in the right wing will drive, answers with the floater as that one rattles in for 2, and the Eagles up to 40. 11 for Isaiah Petty. Bounce pass Robinson. Gets it back from Blackman. Keontae Robinson stops up. Up top. Thomas from 15. Back iron, no. And Robinson fouls Petty on the rebound. (63-45), 12 remaining in the fourth quarter. Yeah, no Brendan Cooley for Serra Catholic. Yeah, that's huge on the boards, but that's also a man that averages over 10 points per game. Joey DeMoss normally the same. He only has 4 in this one. He's not even on the floor right now, as I think it might be almost prevent time for Serra Catholic to make sure none of the big stars get hurt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 23-point lead, and I know Coach Bozic is going to want to keep these guys in and let them continue to get some experience. I mean, they're up 23 points against a team that is only seated one spot below them. You know, that says a lot about this Greyhounds team.
As off of Petty and out.
Monessen, I think, trying to make a statement. You know, this is a Serra team that just beat Greensburg Central Catholic, who was given the number 4 seed right in front of Monessen, and the team that beat Greensburg Central Catholic is on the verge of potentially a 20-point loss to this Greyhounds team.
Lanage Thomas off the feed from Blackman. Another Greyhound in double digits. That makes 3 with Lanage hitting 11 off the bench. Clark to DeMoss. DeMoss dribbling his way up, puts up the 3. Joey DeMoss way off the mark and a foul underneath.
And get Thomas, I believe, for a push.
That indeed is the case. Xavier Saunders.
That's foul number 4 for Thomas.
And Devontae Ross back in, as again you mentioned, number 4 on number 4. Big game for the sophomore.
Yeah, I mean, I think Thomas and Blackman are very underrated pieces of this Monessen team. I mean, they're 2 guys that are 2 usual starters. I know Thomas didn't get the start tonight, but they've come up really big in big situations, not just scoring-wise, but rebounding, providing that size.
As off of the miss,
be on Coons.
Results in that foul on Cody Coons.
That's number 3 on Coons as Shank goes back to the line. I really think that the absence of Brennan Cooley has been evident here for Serra Catholic. That's going to be on Isaiah Petty, his 3rd.
And all the way down the distance we go for Cody Coons to shoot 1 and 1.
And Coons an opportunity here to give Monessen 4 players in double figures.
Petty has to come out for a moment, bleeding, I believe.
Yeah, he's talking with the athletic trainer. As Aaron Spizak checks back in.
Off the mark is Kuhn, so he sits at 9, near side Saunders. Saunders, top of the key. Xavier Saunders to Shank. Shank almost has it taken away. Far side, Clark back up top. Saunders pulls the trigger, and Saunders drills the triple.
Saunders, another one of those talented freshmen.
65-43 out of bounds off the Eagles. Petty will come back in. Spisak out, so it's going to be Dombrowski, Petty, Saunders, Shank, and Clark. Ross, near side Robinson. Robinson. Now it's taken by Coons underneath to Lorenzo Gardner. Gardner puts it up, and Lorenzo adds 2 to his total. 26 for Lorenzo Gardner. Now it's Petty. Petty, left side 3. Petty can't hit. Rebound Saunders. Saunders puts it up with the turning shot and knocks it down. 7 points for Saunders. Lead back down to 20 with 3:15 remaining in the fourth. Blackman has Gardner, now pulls back out. Blackman floats it to Lorenzo Gardner. Gardner back up top. That's Robinson, drives in, puts it up with the left. He's fouled. Keontae Robinson will shoot two. He is 1 for 1 for the stripe with 5 points today. Robinson sends it through, give him 6. He's now 2 for 2 from the line. Fouling against Ben Clark. That's his first. Robinson 2 for 2, make him 3 for 3 in the game, as the Greyhounds hit a very nice total of 69 here this evening. 69-45, 2:54 remaining here in the fourth quarter. There's Shank pulling up from 13, and that one off the back iron and in. Gardner at the other end, off the mark. Shank with the rebound. Coons tries to knock it free, and Cody Coons ends up with the ball in his hand. Arrow points to our right, meaning it's going back with the Eagles. Hussein checks in along with Spisak, and joining the party for the first time today will be Damiano. So all the starters have exited the game for Serra Catholic. Saunders to Shank. Shank kicks it, Damiano underneath, back up, taken away by Gardner. Some reserves will come in next time by for Monessen. Outside Coons, there's Gardner, drives in, lost the handle. Shank up ahead, Damiano. Damiano to the right block, lays it up, blocked out of bounds by Kershaw. Gardner and Coons, just Gardner exits the game. I thought Coons was coming out as well, but Shank pulls up off the mark. So one of the big two has exited for the Monessen Greyhounds, who lead 69-47, 2:04 remaining in the fourth. A statement victory here to end the regular season for Monessen. And they'll take on the Jayhawks from Jeanette in their first playoff matchup.
That's a Jeanette team that knows this Serra Catholic team well. In the same section.
Robinson underneath, up by Coons, no good. Hussein with the boards. Now it's taken by Shank. Shank pushes the issue a little bit. Shank skips it across. Damiano a little trouble with it, drives the baseline. Back to Hussein, catch with Shank for 3, and Shank knocks it through. 6 for Michael Shank, the junior. 69-51, 22 remaining. Coons off the back iron, rebound, grab down. Shank now driving the other way. Shank coast to coast, lays it up with the right. 8 now for Michael Shank. 69-52. Ross near side Robinson. Robinson back to Ross. Sacco wanted, instead it's Cody Coons. He has Kershaw underneath. Coons skips it back up top to Robinson. Robinson around Spisak, foul line. Drives in, and a travel first gives the Eagles the ball back with 49.9 on the clock, and that will allow another substitution to come as Cody Coons exits the game for Darrell Ray. So Coons will finish up his regular season with a 9-point total. 69-52. Monessen in cruise control. Shank almost lost it and did. Up ahead, there's Ray. Ray has it. Saunders in defense. Ray misses the layup. Rebound taken away, Alexavier Saunders. Alexavier pulls up for 3. Saunders no good. Rebound back the other way. Here comes Ross. Ross looks to dribble it out. 20 seconds remaining, just staring at the clock. Fires it to Sacco inside. Ray drives in. Right block layup, no good again. Rebound, Shank up to Damiano. Damiano with 9, down to 8. Damiano to Saunders. Saunders for 3 again. Buries it again. Alexavier Saunders beats the buzzer. Makes this one look a little closer, giving himself double digits. 3 Eagles ended in double digits. They fall 69-55 to Monessen here this evening as the Greyhounds make the statement, saying we maybe deserve more than the 5, as now they turn their attention to Jeanette and Serra Catholic. They'll turn their attention into the postseason as well, as the number 5 and 16 respectively finish this one off with a 69-55 Monessen victory.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what the Greyhounds wanted to accomplish here tonight. Now a 15-game winning streak for Monessen heading into the postseason as they make a statement over the team. Like we said before, only seated 1 spot below them. So both these teams heading into the postseason. Monessen will face Jeanette, the 12th seed, on Tuesday, and 6th-seeded Eagles will take on number 11 Shenango in the first round of the WPIAL Class 2A playoffs.
69-55 your total, 13 for Elijah Ward, 11 for Isaiah Petty, 10 for Alex Xavier Saunders, and 8 for Michael Shank for the Serra Catholic Eagles, who added 55 points on the board. For Monessen, 26 for the sophomore Lorenzo Gardner. Give 11 to Lanaj Thomas, 16 to Jay Sean Blackman, and 9 to Cody Coons, 7 to Keontae Robinson. As the Greyhounds finish the regular season 18-4, 10-0 in the section. Serra Catholic finishes the regular season at 500, 10 wins, 10 losses, as number 5 takes down number 6 here this evening. Jose, pleasure as always. And now we turn our attention to the playoffs, and if you want to know more about the postseason, join us tomorrow, 6 o'clock, bracket breakdown show here on MBI Live. We'll be live for you from the usual venue, same as the Valley Sports Guys podcast, just down the road here in Monessen, His Place Coffee Community More. But until tomorrow and until the postseason, on behalf of Jose Negron, I'm Alex Lyon saying thanks for tuning in. Your final score, Monessen 69, Serra Catholic 55. You heard it all right here on MBI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.